Sunday night, it's a relaxed look at the PDF of Sleeping Dragon's Wake. And it's nearly Christmas. So, yes. And I always wonder, how many Christmases have I got left? That's the kind of mindset that I get in at Christmas. So I intend to enjoy it. Nearly the holidays, a bit more work left for me. And then the real work continues when I get off at Christmas and really hit the uploads scheduled for next year. So, did you see the trailer for Warlock, the D&D new game coming next year? Looks pretty sweet, I would say. Good, exciting, more games. You know, we do worry that there'll be just a total deluge of games coming rather than actual books and stuff, but we shall see. And I was reading about the Forgotten Realms TV series that's planned for Netflix. I mean, that sounds like a good thing. It's got to be really bad for me not to enjoy it. So yeah, today we're going to look at, just like we did last time, this. We're up to the Death Knight Dreadnought. So we got up to Clougy Liamatar's Lair last week, so if you haven't seen that, or you want to watch any more of this in the series, it's on the playlists for stuff. Yeah, easily found. It's the Icespire Peak, that's what I was trying to get through. Right. Yeah, let's have a look then. I got this page. So, well, we know that this Dreadnought is now moored off from the Tower of Storms. That's all we kind of know. The Dread Cultist, Ularan Mortis. Sounds pretty cool. He's got a load of his crew. And they came on a cursed galleon, which is something to do with the soul of a Death Knight. Which, I don't know, that just sounds pretty awesome, to be honest. So what does it actually say? Somehow the Storm of Talos dude, the magical lighthouse lured it onto the rocks. Okay. So there was a big battle and Ularan Mortis jumped overboard. Don't know where he is, I don't think. And then unable to steer the Dreadnought, it crashed onto the rocks. Now, where was it? The spirit inhabiting the vessel hails from a lost city, blah blah, doesn't really matter. Longing for its old home, Felarai kidnapped a local bard and forced him to regale the ship with songs from its lost homeland. So he's calming down this ship's soul, which is a bit weird, now I say that out loud. As long as Tarbin sings to it regularly, the soul of the ship remains willing to carry out Felarai's commands. So this Felarai seems to be a good dude. It's a champion, Felarai Stormsworn. Okay, so it's kind of being hypnotised, kept under some form of trance, I guess. To complete the Death Knight Dreadnought quest, the adventurers must rescue Tarbin Tull from the Dreadnought's hold, or stop him singing to the vessel so that the ship can disappear. Now there is a bit of a quest board in the docks of Leylon where this whole quest takes place from. And that is currently 20 miles away, is Leylon, from the lighthouse called the Tower of Storms. Arrival. An armoured dreadnought, which I've never really heard of before, made from metal and bones, nice, rests on the rocky outcrop in the bay. Flames leap from a mounted brazier on its main mast, and its ragged sails are stitched from worn leather. Half-orcs patrol its decks, ready to use siege weapons, and a giant's skeleton, clutching a halberd, is lashed to its bow. Over a dozen zombies are impaled on stakes set into the rocks around the vessel. That is a very weird defence. So, Scouting the Dreadnought or getting on board without being spotted is the first challenge. DC 15 stealth. With advantage if they go at night. On a failure they are spotted and fired at with siege weapons. So that's not cool. 20 zombies are impaled on stakes, driven into the rocks around the Dreadnought. And these undead were sent here by Ularan Mortis to recapture his vessel. I see. And have been staked out by Felarai, the good guy, or girl. Each zombie is splattered with an unusual amount of dried bird droppings. Cool. Characters who visited the ruins of Inarv's tower recognise them as coming from that location. The zombies writhe and moan on their stakes but are unable to move unless they are cut down. Where is Stormsworn? The champion of the cult of Talos is on board the Dreadnought. When the characters arrive, you can place her anywhere you want. If she learns that intruders are present, she moves to intercept them. A towering female half-orc steps into view. Her muscles are like iron bands, her face is fixed in a bestial scowl. This is my ship now, and I mean to keep it. She's a war priest, one of the main villains of the story, and destined to return in divine contention later. If any attack drops Felarai to fewer than half her hit points, she gets off because she needs to come back later on, and it's important sometimes to remember to not kill off important characters later on, otherwise you might find yourself in a little bit of a fix. The Death Knight's soul. So this soul, Emberlost, is bound in the Dreadnought's bones. As a sentient undead creature, Emberlost can see and talk through the skeletal figurehead, his own corpse, or the Hellfire Orb mounted on the mainmast. Nice. It serves creatures it chooses to obey, and since Stormsworn appeased it by using a kidnapped bard to sing songs from its homeland, it will listen to that person. I think it's a she. If the bard stops singing against Emberlost's will or is removed from the vessel, the Dreadnought shunts itself angrily from the rocks and disappears. Here we have a nice 5-levelled map. I'm guessing, we'll find out, that D1, yes, is the coastal rocks that it crashed against. D2's just in front. We've got the top deck down to 7. Down some steps, presumably. Upper decks, ore deck, crew deck, hold, which is flooded. Alright, and we can handle that. The coastal rocks. Slippery sea rocks, dashed by waves, yeah. Difficult terrain, and you can get waves smashing into you, knocking you over, yes. So this giant skeleton head must be on the front, then? An animated skeleton. Oh, it's a whole thing. An animated skeleton of a stone giant is tied to the bow. It's a +8, a reach of 20 feet. Oh, that's cool. The evil spirit of a Death Knight can see and speak through the figurehead. If the Death Knight spots intruders outside the ship, it alerts Felarai below deck, and she moves to confront her new guests. So it's difficult to sneak up on. Yeah, main deck. Set of stairs, blah blah blah. 2 anchorites of Talos stationed at a ballista, with an additional 1 for every 2 characters in the party. So yeah, we got some mobs on top. The Hellfire Orb is on D4. D4, up in the middle. What does it do? Get off. Get off. It's an iron brazier with an ever-burning orb of flame. Death Knight can look through it. Once a day, you can hurl a magical ball of fire that explodes at a point it can see within 240 feet. A creature takes 10d6 fire and 10d6 necrotic. That's quite lethal, isn't it? The front deck also has 2 anchorites. They are daring each other to spit on the skull. The D6 is a quarter deck. The ship's wheel is fixed there. An intruder who touches the steering wheel takes necrotic damage. The poop deck. At the back of the ship, 2 anchorites of Talus, and they can hurl lightning bolts down on the intruders. The hatch here opens a 20-foot deep shaft into the ship's magazine. A bucket and winch are used to haul rocks up from the magazine to load the mangonel. Magazine like magazine of a gun then. Okay. D8, the chart room. The desk is laden with sea charts and old maps of the Sword Coast. And enough instruments to assemble a complete set of navigator's tools. Characters who study the ship's course deduce that it set sail from the destination of whatever. All maps show locations of dozens of long-lost barrows, whatever. So they were looking for something still buried. Most of the tombs have been looted or destroyed. Ularan was hunting for the mausoleum of the Black Dragon. Charden C. Ravitriol. Charden C. Ravitriol. They usually have other names, don't they? He took the map, showing its location with him before he fled the ship. Area 9. These lockers contain supplies. They have... Oh, you can hide inside and evade the crew. Captain's cabin. Searching the cabin, discerns that a new resident recently claimed the room. A leather-bound journal open on the floor next to the bed. Looking at that, necromancer's plans for the region. There's a bit of a handout. Okay, let's look at the handout. Okay, how does one woo a legendary dragon? Great treasure for certain. I wonder how Ebondeath might feel about the prospect of immortality. Once my colleagues in Cultus Draconis have prepared the proper rituals, we can take command of the worm, add its strength to our own. Then I, Ularan Mortis, will command their respect, as well as the fears of that pathetic alliance of lords. The Lord's Alliance! Nice. If we can accomplish this, certainly no task shall be too great for a true devotee of the Lord of Bones. At that point, taking possession of the artifact from that ridiculous little burg of Lelon should be child's play. The Dreadnought grows restless. Emberloss seeks hopelessly to be reunited with his fallen homeland of Onaria. How does one ease the obsessive behaviours of Equus Mortem, particularly in its current state? And in the margin, written in a different hand, Roadhouse? Could Bard win him over? Which is how we get to him kidnapping a Bard and making the ship calmer. Is there like a cabinet? So the journal belonged to Ularan, High Priest of Merkel, God of Death. Yeah. The gloomy ore deck. Looks like the belly of a whale with big ribs because it's all made of bone and stuff. If the Death Knight soul knows the intruders are on board, it animates a team of Minotaur skeletons. What constitutes a team? 1 skeleton for every member of the party. So let's say 4 or 5. It's quite a good fight, that. Once a day, the Death Knight can animate a rowing crew of 50 skeletons from the bone piles. Also nice. I wonder whether we could animate these 50 skeletons to fight our party as well. Would that be too much? It'd be quite crazy. This cabin is occupied by Gol Badwind, a grumpy fat half-orc. He carries an alchemy jug. 13, the magazine where all those rocks were. Crew quarters. They hear singing drifting from a cabin. The hammocks are enchanted to attack anyone. Each hammock is a rug of smothering. Very good. The old crew use this galley to prepare food. Yeah, there's a kitchen and stuff like that. Surgery. The door to this compartment is boarded over with heavy planks of wood. Ularan Mortis was known for constructing servants from the stitched together bodies, flesh columns. 1 flesh golem for every 2 members of the party. And they attack anyone who enters. That's why there's potions of healing to the power of 3. The Death Knight's soul. The corpse of a knight wearing plate armour slumps on a throne at the end of this compartment. He's fused with the ship, which is nice. If questioned, the Death Knight reveals its yearning for its homeland. You can learn about its homeland. If anyone touches the corpse or strikes it with a melee weapon, Emberlost withdraws his body into the hull, swallowing its bones. The bard spends his waking hours singing old songs to calm it down. He's terrified. He's desperate to escape, but terrified of defying Stormsworn. But that's how you get rid of the boat out to sea. Bits and bats of storage. Prison cell. He's in the prison cell. 2, exhausted to perform. Or when he is. They lock him in a cold cell to recuperate. Unlocking the door alerts the Death Knight's soul to the presence of intruders inside the vessel. This armoury has bits and bats. +2 mace, that's nice, called bone counter. And then deep down at the bottom we saw that it was flooded. So those are the areas of that ship. Bit of a fight. That's quite simple, straightforward. Rescue the bard from inside his prison cell and get rid of the Dreadnought ship. And then we have Iniav's tower. It's some good stuff here. It's well written, as we say every week. Yeah. Ideally for level 10, but we don't worry about that. So, Iniav's tower is a ruined stone keep. Iniav was a mage who became a lich. When a war between a kingdom of good people and a horde of goblinoids broke out near the keep, it angered Iniav. The lich called the ocean forth to destroy both armies, creating the Mere of Dead Men. I didn't know that's how it was done. He has not been seen since the incident. Over the centuries, bandits, thieves, etc. used the tower as a base while it fell into ruin. The Chimera crew, a group of bandits, currently occupies the lair. We've heard about those. We don't need to know anything about that. The adventurers must kill or drive out the bandits living in the tower. Straightforward, easy to run. Groans fill the air as moaning humanoids figures covered in dry bird droppings sprint towards you on the road. Because these are off the front of that ship. A pair of not on the ship, but near the ship. A pair of red-faced women in heavy armour run behind saying, "Stop those zombies! Greater zombies!" Greater zombies. 97 average health. Whoa, buddy. Yeah, they can get back up. 2 slam attacks, empowered slam. This would be nice if this was my standard zombie. +7s. 7 bludgeoning, 7 necrotic. I like those. They're scary for players. Back. So, do we get a number? Greater zombies that escaped from the tower by smashing a hole through the tower wall are chased by the crew, who are chaotic, evil human veterans. 2 greater zombies +1 for every 2 members of the party. At first, Alavine and Niri help the characters fight the undead, but then they turn on the characters. 1 attempts to flee back to the tower. The tower has arrow slits. Yeah, do what you want with that. Let's have a look, a quick peek. So there's a bit of a moat into a drawbridge. Staircase is up. Yeah, it's up. Looks like it's open topped. Middle. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what it expects us to do. Atop an escarpment on the east side of the high road stands a crumbling keep with 30-foot high walls. Gatehouse, 2 short towers, 1 tall tower, more than twice as tall as the keep's walls. Make a stealth check to get up to it sneakily. There's a 10-foot ditch, which was once a moat. Difficult terrain. 3 entrances. 1. 2 through a break. And don't know. Area 12, Area 13, Area 15. Area 15. How? How? Area 15. Oh, you have to climb up, do you? Okay, maybe there's a window or something. The characters do not notice the last entrance until they moved around to that side of the keep. Alright. All will become apparent. The walls are 30 feet high. We've got scouts patrolling the walls. They will run to alert the rest. And you've got a fight in your hand. Fine. Pit trap. There's a pit trap with 10-foot square opening in the ground, covered with a tarp. And then when you go in, there's snakes in it. Okay. The gatehouse, 2 stories. They smell oil. Ooh, they keep it oiled up to set a fire to it. That's good as well. That's nice. The first story of the gatehouse has double doors behind portcullises. They are heavy to lift. Yeah, it can be secured with a pull. The second story has murder holes where you pour stuff through. Or you can drop these flasks of alchemist fire. Otherwise they're in a small iron box. Damn. The courtyard. Mud-covered courtyard where they have their tents. They can be camping, eating, sneak up for the throat slits of a rogue. When a creature standing in the courtyard is hit by an attack that is critical hit, the target might fall prone because it's a slippy, muddy area. The main tower is 80 foot tall, 2 entrances in. A creature can clear some barricaded blockage. Undead inside come out and attack creatures that are not undead. Zombies. Ogre zombie. That's good. Collapsed cellar entrance. Yeah, we don't have it in this adventure. Okay. 10 swarms of ravens from the main tower roof. If you get on the roof and you're heavy, you fall in. There's some bludgeoning damage and everything can just fall in. The North Guard Tower, first floor, has a chimera. Ash breath. And Rhaegar Sworn, Master Thief, feeding the chimera chunks of human flesh. What's the chimera do? Well, multi-attack, 3 attacks, 1 with a bite, 1 with its horns, 1 with its claws, and a fire breath. 114 average and can fly. That's a nice villain right there. That gets my stamp of approval. Let's see. Rhaegar asks the characters to stick around and help. Ooh. If they go in a non-threatening manner, you might get Rhaegar on side. Help raid the next caravan that passes, otherwise she attacks with the chimera. A ladder to a trapdoor. Steel box. Rhaegar has the key to this box, which is trapped with a nice poison needle. It contains a potion of diminution, which is just a reduce size spell to enlarge reduce. Could be useful. There's some gold and platinum in there. So what really is the point? Got a tower, we've got another tower, a chain that needs releasing to get in. Chimera moved the greater zombies to this location after they broke through the weakened area. There is 1 greater zombie. Yeah, is that it? Is that it? It's a nice chimera fight. Some tents. I mean, zombies, don't get me wrong, zombies are a nice touch, but yeah, it is just a case of clearing it out. So, fair enough on that chapter. And then we have this one. Leylon Point. We already live in Leylon, so we know about this. A band of Sourgwyn scouts made Salt Cave beneath Leylon Point their base of operations. Alright, so this is out in the sea area bit. So, adventurers must simply drive out the Sourgwyn, or however you want to say it, from this cave, which is... okay, nice. Nice. So you come from Leylon, I guess. Does this... This is Leylon Point, must be different. And then into the caves, and here's where you need... or is this... I can't remember, I can't bother jumping to the Leylon map. We've looked at it before. Alright, just have to clear that out then. Farmhouses, fishing supply huts, the head house. Yeah, this isn't the main town, is it, where we live in? 10 days ago, like a week ago, loads of violent shark people appeared. Marciano sent word to Leylon to help after the first attacks, but more raids followed. 5 days ago, everyone remained inside just to wait for help. Hewer's hut. They find the door to the one-roomed home is unlocked. Inside, they find a bed, a fireplace, bits and bats. This hunt belongs to Kalana Devro, who was killed in Salt Cave. There is a book beneath the pillow called Sea Devils, which contains all the information necessary about the Sourgwyn. What do they do? The fish people. Is it loading me up? It is. They make 2 attacks with spears, bite, claws, blood frenzy to anyone who's bleeding. That's nice as well. Door to one room of the shrine is unlocked. You find a corpse lying in their own blood, which got a potion of water breathing if you need it. So yeah, decide when you want to raid this place. Go down to the salt caves. And you might be attacked if you don't sneak in. The severed heads of 6 humans on spears line the south wall of this cavern. The bodies of these humans are thrown at the back of the cave, covering a patch of floor where the Glyph of Warding spell was cast. If the bodies are moved, the glyph is triggered. It is 14 of a dex save and 22 average thunder damage. Okay, bit of a trap. And the clam cavern, made of coral, atop a 10-foot high cliff, filling this chamber with green light. The clam was gifted to Gaza when she became a high priestess. If she dies, the clam stops shedding light. Sourgwyn in the clam's light have advantage on attack rolls, so we do want to smash that really. Then there's a swarm of quippers in a 10-foot pool. The Sourgwyn High Priestess stands next to the clam because she has advantage on things, leading a group of blade masters in wild prayer to their god. Blade Master and a normal set of Sourgwyn fight on the bottom level of this chamber, 2 to every player. A boulder in this room mostly covers a small hole where treasure is hidden. Black pearl, some money, pretty boring. A ritual circle drawn in blood around the bones of a giant shark where priestesses chant and they bring to life a giant shark skeleton. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. AC 13, yeah, a lot of hit points. Vulnerable to bludgeoning and bites, +9. Has advantage on melee attack rolls against a creature that doesn't have all its hit points. Oh, because it smells blood. That's a lovely little treat. I do like that. I would definitely be running these 3 adventures from this trilogy of DLCs. I think there's just some really fresh ideas in here. Shark is undead, vulnerable to bludgeoning, immune to stuff. Yeah. I mean, is that it? we've reached the end of this module. So the adventure can end one of several ways. It ideally concludes with the adventurers witnessing Claugi Liamatar's body becoming possessed by Chardan Siavatriol's spirit and the completion of all the quest board. By then, characters are 11th level, give the players a chance to wrap up loose ends before declaring the adventure over. But this is the second of 3 modules. One we covered before, and the other one is yet to be covered next year. The story doesn't have to stop here. If you play Divine Contention, the next adventure in Beyond Dragon of the Icespire Peak series, the characters have a final showdowns with the enemies. Okay. Okie dokie. So is that what it's called then? Let's go to sources. You might. Oh, sorry, you're not seeing this. Hang on. Let me just see sources. I have got them all. It doesn't. Divine Contention is called that, yeah. All right. Fair enough. That's correct. Well, we covered that. There's just like nice little simple adventure parts to that, where you clear out caves and get rid of the warship. And that's quite easy and cool. So next week we're going to be watching, we're doing a watch along of the movie Honor Among Thieves. So, if you're notified about that, I look forward to sitting down here for the final live stream of the year, I think. And I've had absolutely nobody watch it live, so there's no reason for me to stick around. But we've got more progress in this series. Hey, thanks for watching. You guys are the best, and I'll see you next session, I think.